that a while ago, but just in case there's any confusion, anyone wants to see what's going on, we are recording the meeting. So just make sure, please, when you are speaking, that your microphone is green or people will not be able to hear. And I mean, it's probably a good idea to leave it green all the time, but over to you, but when you do speak. So welcome councillors, welcome council staff and members of the community, especially members of the iwi. We really appreciate you being here today. Welcome to the press. We have 3 online and you can all hear us all right? Very good, thank you. So we're now going to move on to apologies. Please, we have an apology from Councillor Beckhard, who is here online, Councillor Rangihaeta, Councillor Horo, and Councillor Langton. I think that's everyone. So moved Deputy Mayor Northcott, seconded Councillor Mackie. Discussion. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Against? It is carried. Are there any declarations of interest for this meeting that councillors have, please? Thank you. If you do think of anything, bring it up. So we're now going to move on to open forum and presentations. So we do have obviously iwi in the room. I would love that we can hear from each iwi. And so I'm going to start with Ngāpari, please, to introduce. From Ngāti Ruanui.
Pai tuarui, pai era. Tuia e ranginui o nei, tuia e papatunu ki takato nei. Tuia te era tangata e taki a mai, a waiki nui, a waiki roa, a waiki pāho. Tuia te mokotanga ta karongo te pōkarongo ta. E te kōrero e te wānanga, pua takataka pua pio. Ko au nuku te maramaka, haurangi te maramaka, takato ta au o tui te waringi, tui te wānanga ki te whae o ki te o marama, ti hei Māori. E tua tai kami ke a tātou kingi, ko iaia e takoto i roto, a tai nui i roto tūranga wawa i tēnei wā, i pakaro ki aia mi tuna wānau i tēnei wā. E pakaro hoki ke te kui o ta awa, ina nahi, hari ki te papa o te whenua, te kuia piki hoki, me he tihi atu mate mo tātou i tēnei wā. E me nui e pakaro ki a rātou mo tā rātou haringa. I wea ki te kāinga tūturo o nā tangata kauri hoki mai. Nō reira, e wai o tia rātou te mate ki a rātou, kami i kia koe, te koro mātua a peo, me tō kai tautoko hoki a Rob. Kia koutou nā pau o te kaunihero o te tonga nei. Mea mātou whānau no taranaki tūturu mo nā ruini, kia mātou whānau marunga te roro i ko, nā ruru hoki kami kia tātou e tika e kaupapa nui mo tātou e haere mai. Mo te kaupapa nei e miko ana, e moi o mātou, e taumaha tēnei kaupapa e ringo i o koutou pakahiwi, mai te wā ko koutou e pakai ki te apau mo a mātou Māori Wards i tēnei wā. E whakaro ki a tūtere karake te taina mai, hoki me lehen hoki e whakaro ki a rawatahi tēnei wā. Anō re kaore te nui nā mōre me nui ko mātou e taina mai e kaputa a mātou kore mo te kaupapa nei anō reira tēnā koutou kato.
Kia ora.
Anore, he whakaro ki a tātou pau i roto Ngāti Runi me Aotea Waka ko a tātou kraua ko rangi peto hoki, e moe o mātou i nui te wā, e haere mai kei mua a mātou, nā kauni hera, mō nā kaupapa katoa, a tātou krau e tēnei wā. E whakaro hoki ki a tātou kōtero, a tātou whānu hoki a Debbie, kore ka taina mai, but he tuku tana aroa ki a mātou mō te kaupapa e tēnei wā. Nō reira, tēnā kutu. Tēnā kutu, tēnā kutu.
Kia ora.
Ngāti Runui thanks the Council for the opportunity here to speak today in respect of Māori Wards. We won't repeat the details of the legislation. We note that you have that in great deal of detail in your agenda. And we won't actually report the history much to you, as you know that as well. What we do say is a number of comments that we think are relative to this subject matter that you're considering this afternoon. Collectively, this council made the decision to establish Māori Wards. I think it was in 2020. Ngāti Runui congratulated you in making a step into a prosperous, collaborative future community at that time. Through legislation, the government is now taking this away from you, the South Taranaki District Council. The ability to lead your community on a clear and unifying path you established 3 years ago is being taken away from you. This, we believe, is a complete overreach of the government, and I think you repeated that in your submission to the government that you made a number of months ago. You as the council are more than capable of making these decisions for yourself. Ngāti Runui says shame on the government for reigniting the flames of the race debate. The government has made a platform for those who love having these sorts of debates. Division of hatefulness will flourish as a result. Your decision in 2020 made sure the council voices around the table were for all of us. The first time our people were given that opportunity. Māori Wards allow Māori to be part of decision making, and we in terms of representation on council. We believe Māori councillors bring a new view and a different perspective to decisions around the council table, and we hope that this has been demonstrated to you in the last few years. Our Māori Ward councillors are here at council to have a particular responsibility to represent our people, bringing forward Māori views and aspirations. However, they also represent the entire community, just like all other councillors. Ngāti Runui sees Māori Wards as a positive way forward. We are proud of a greater collaborative approach, coming together as a community. Māori Ward councillors ensure the voices of our people are heard. You are a council serving everybody as a result. Our challenge is to make this a positive decision. As a decision to retain Māori Wards by doing it twice here in this council chamber as you did before. Retention of Māori Wards is the right thing to do and affirms us all as treaty partners. We note that the local government New Zealand says having such wards is one way for you as council to honour the partnership principle committed to in Te Tiriti o Waitangi. It is set out under Section 4 of the Local Government Act, the council's responsibility to uphold those principles of the treaty. We feel we are being singled out by the government for discriminatory treatment, seeking to divide Māori and non-Māori New Zealanders. Unity is what we stand for, and we've heard a lot about that this week. And we thank the council for its submission objecting to the legislation put forward by this government. Our people share the same vision of prosperity. We are active in investing in our community and the development for the better. Ngāti Runui is an active partner in our community. We provide over 200 jobs in South Taranaki. We invest in new business, and single-handedly we provide the backbone of our GP health services here. And we're also currently now actively supporting new housing development. Māori Wards are a stepping stone towards local unity. Māori Wards ensure Māori voices and perspectives are part of the local decision making. Māori wards are a positive direction in the green shoots of being one together. Our collective partnership strategy, already mentioned by the Mayor this afternoon, is one of those growing shoots. It has established a hoe in the ground. It's a foundation for success. We believe our partnership and working together has grown to a new level of maturity. Let's keep that momentum going. Collectively, we hear the feedback from you that we're getting this right. We ask the South Taranaki District Council to retain our Māori wards. Let's do what is right together. And we ask one more thing, which we haven't asked other councils to date, and we ask you maybe to follow some other examples in the country. We would go one step further and ask that the council does not participate in the poll requested by the government, part of the 2025 election. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you, Graham. Kia ora. Excellent. Thank you very much to you, Graham, and to Ngāti Ruanui. Do we have a speaker, please, for Ngā Ruahine? Thank you, Emma. We have two. We have John and Emma. Welcome.
Tahi ka miake tēnei ki tō tātanei rōpū I taki ai ngā rurutu kia tūwhera ai tō tātanei hui. Ka miake. Koirā hoki tō tātanei koro matua e mihi kawana kia koirā me a tātanei kai kaunihira o Taranaki ki te tonga. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou. Ka tika ngā kōrero kāne ki tō tātanei ariki nui a tūheitia paki a pōpōrā a ko tōna rā netu. Ka whakaro hoki ki tō tātanei kuia kei ronga marae kei oio tō tātanei kuia Rawinia me ngā tini mati. Tēnei ngā kōrero ki rātou, moi maira, moi maira. Ka wakabuti reo I tēnei wā. First off, I'd like to go back to 1989. There, we actually had Pierce Joyce with the formation of our iwi liaison group. And at that time there, that was visionary. So we take our cap off to our Taranaki ki te tonga kaunihira. Now, in 2020, we moved it up another step, whereby the Māori Wards issue was debated here. Prior to that, there, our iwi of Taranaki ki te tonga didn't support Māori Wards, but in 2020, all four of us came in solidly behind it, and we fostered it to go through council. We acknowledge the work that our staff did, and the many workshops that were held with our councillors. So, e tino mihi. Now, when we look at it as a partnership of communities to grow mutually in prosperity and understanding. Now, in 2020, 100% of our council voted in favour of the Māori Wards. That was a watershed for us in Ngā Ruahine. For example, prior to that there, we had 70 million sitting in the bank, but we were investing in Wellington. Prior to that, from then onwards, we've now known, okay, we can trust our partners here. We're in a position to now co-invest in our backyard, which is here, South Taranaki. So we're looking at impact investments. Oh, I've been up pinched some of your stuff there, my tūhine. And also, there's a lot of joint ventures that I'll let my tūhine talk about, and other exciting opportunities about to occur in South here. But when we look at it, because of that platform laid down in 2020, there are now over 130 folk employed by Ngā Ruahine Iwi Authority, Te Porawai, as well as our kura iwi, kura kaupapa, and our kohanga reo. That is quite a strong workshop, spending and fostering and prospering in our South Taranaki area. So I'm not going to do any more on there. I'll now leave the juicier pieces to my my whananga kia koira in.
Ka pai, John.
Tēnā whē te rangatira, tēnā koutou e ngā kai kauni era. Ai tēnei te mei o kiki o kupa ake tautoko katoa tia i ngā kōrero kua puta e pāna ki tēnei kaupapa i mua i tā tātou aro. Ai, ko Emma Gardner tōku ingoa, kua te pau wakarai o te korowai o ngā rua ine. Ai. So today, ideally we wouldn't be talking about this. Ideally we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be having to make this decision. Ideally, we would all understand and we would all value the Tiriti partnership. And I think most, if not all of our councillors here would understand and value that partnership. And so today, I guess what I want to focus this kōrero on is first being able to emphasise the value of our Tiriti partnership in real terms. Secondly, due process and the importance of community voice. And then lastly, our responsibilities, both the councillors, Pai Mahi, ourselves here, when we leave this room and when the conversation continues. Nō reira, when we first go to what does the tiriti look like in real terms, I like to emphasise the relationship that Te Korowai and as Mātua here said, ngā rua ine entities rōpū hapū have had with the council. In particular, we are going through a very exciting time now where we are looking at opportunities within Manaia. This will be a landmark project where we will have iwi and council working on civic development. Te Korowai has made a commitment in this space. We have made a commitment to impact investments within our rohe. We understand the responsibility we have to stimulate the local economy. And that's where we have shared interests, both the South Taranaki community and iwi and Māori. We all want our whānau to stay here. We all want them to be raised here. We all want them to move back. And in order to do that, we need to have a strong and thriving economy. We need to have strong infrastructure, all that boring stuff. And then from that, we know that we will be able to foster well-being for our people, for our whānau, and for our community. And so again, I just wish to emphasise the value that our Tiriti partnership brings. Secondly, again, I'd like to think most, if not all, are already on this waka. But if you're not, I'd like to emphasise that this isn't a vote about whether you're for or against Māori Wards. This is a vote to ensure that the community has a voice and ensure that there will be a poll next year. And actually, ideally, as our Wanaunga in Ngāti Ruanui said, that you just decide not to do it at all. But failing that, today, I guess what I want to emphasise is the importance of a consensus today. We want to go into this conversation in a positive light and a positive note. And I think that by having a consensus, by having a unanimous decision in regards to this, we'll start the conversation on the right path. Lastly, again, what is our responsibility when we leave this room? Again, we shouldn't be in this situation, but we are. We have heard already today the threat of negative and abusive conversations. I think we all have a role. We all have a responsibility, and we all have the power to ensure that that conversation happens in a positive manner, as positive as you possibly can on a matter like this that shouldn't be happening in the first place. And so I do stress to us all to ensure that we think about the optics, we think about our messages, and we are very thoughtful in what comes out of our mouth leaving this room. Lastly, I made this offer to Stratford, and I think it's only right that I make the offer here. If you are on the fence, if you need to move on to our side, give me a ring. Let's go for a beer. My shout, bring your mates, and let's have a conversation. Nō reira, tēnā tātou.
Kia ora, kia ora. All done. Okay, do we have a speaker from Taranaki? Iwi, please, not looking at anyone.
5 minutes.
Kia ora, your worship. Thank you very much for receiving me. For the record, I am Peter Moiau, and I bring apologies from my chair, Jackie King, my CEO, Whareoka Wano, and my representative on your council, Leanne Horo. So you have the bench super sub before you today. Your worship, thank you for acknowledging our Kingi Tuheitia. It means a lot to our people that he is recognised throughout the land. So thank you. Councillors, I bring to you today the love, the aroha of the whānau, the hapu and the iwi of Taranaki. When you made your original decision to support Māori Wards, many in our community never thought it would happen. Many in our community thought we would go against the grain of so many others and actually bring about Māori Wards. We are so ever grateful to you. It's gratitude given that this baby that you gave birth to is not even 3 years old yet. And the threat to its life is very, very dear. It's very close. The threat that may kill this child that you gave birth to. So we ask you to please continue your support for Māori Wards. And we don't ask we ask in all humility that you continue to support Māori Wards. When the legislation was first introduced back in 2020-21, I have been on this journey since then. And I never, in all honesty, thought I would live to see the day when we would have Māori representation on councils. I have lived to see the day, but I might also live to see the day when they are not. So I ask you to please continue your support for Māori Wards. And I support all that has been said so far by our iwi representatives. I also join in asking you to consider seeking advice on not pursuing a referendum, but being your own council and doing your own thing. Your worship, thank you very much, councillors. Thank you very much. Kia ora.
Thank you. Do we have a speaker from Raru, please? We've got Renee online there. Can you hear us, Renee? Is our internet not working down in Waverley? Wanganui? No,
No.
we can't see Renee.
Yeah, Renee, no.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I'm just sending a message to say. Oh, sorry, that was my message.
Got it. We all got it there. I don't want to speak up like that. That's you. You can turn yourself off.
Okay, we will give her a couple of minutes just to come online. What I am going to say is we've had several speakers already for. Is there anyone in the room that wants to speak against today? Oh, that was easy. So now we're still waiting for Renee.
Unmute.
Can I just say a few words while we're waiting?
Like, probably, like,
It's, Oh, Mary Moore, Aho. I'd encourage council to stick with its decision that it made back in 2020. It's important that all the community be represented. The current government, central government, is spreading divisiveness and hate across the country. And when people see this kind of behavior, it gives them permission to express the same views. For council to step forward and include Māori at the decision-making table sets an example of leadership and of important value that it represents to the community.
This is where you shine for us.
Okay, so we've just got a little bit of dilemma, again with this confusion at meeting time. We do have another speaker that apparently rang yesterday and asked to speak, and council gave him permission, Councillor Dini Morihu from New Plymouth, and he is about 20 minutes away with a tailwind. And so the dilemma we have is there is a couple of councillors have already spoken to me with other commitments this afternoon. So unfortunately, I'm going to continue with the meeting with it. And so what I would like to do, we're just having problems actually getting hold of Renee, but we do have a written statement from Te Kauhui o Ngāraru. So I would just like to read this from Renee, and hopefully that covers what she wanted to say. So, tēnā koutou, establishment of Māori Wards in South Taranaki District. With the introduction of the local government electoral legislation and Māori Wards and Māori constituencies amendment bill to Parliament in May 2024 and its impact on the 2025 local elections, iwi are again being asked for their opinion on Māori Wards. Te Kauhui o Ngāraru wrote strongly in opposition to the local government electoral legislation and Māori Wards and Māori constituencies amendment bill. There was no consultation undertaken with Māori in developing the bill, and there was limited consultation undertaken with local government, indicative of the coalition government's approach to upholding the Crown's treaty obligations. Te Kauhui o Ngāraru is of the view that the bill denies and decreases opportunities for Māori to contribute to local government decision-making processes, once again exposes Māori communities to the type of racism and abuse experienced in New Plymouth in 2015, undermines the relationship of mana whenua with the Crown. This letter is to confirm that Te Kauhui o Ngāraru Trust held Hui held on 11th of August 2024, Te Kauhui o Ngāraru Trust reaffirmed their continued, this is in bold, their continued support for Māori Wards at local elections in the South Taranaki District, as well as in other local territorial areas that Ngāraru, Kitahi, Rohi encompasses. The Council should affirm its decision to introduce Māori Wards and include a poll question on the 2025 local electoral voting papers asking to retain Māori Wards at the 2028 local election. Renee Brett. Okay. So I'm going to bring this to an end, the open forum. What I just did want to say though is thank you very much for being here and for those who have spoken with passion. When this first came out and we started discussing it in, well, I think it was actually 2019 and then into 2020, the question was there, okay, so we've got representation on our environment and hearings, and we've got representation on our risk and assurance, or audit and risk it was then, which is full voting rights on those two committees. Would that remain? Well, as far as I was concerned, right from the beginning, it was an and. It wasn't an instead of if we went to Māori Ward. We also have representative on our two portfolio groups, infrastructure portfolio and community portfolio. And I think this has worked really well for us here in South Taranaki. We've got the wards, we've got that other representation here, and we work well together. And so it's disappointing that we are being challenged. So with that, I'm going to close the open forum, and we're going to move on to what page? This is Sarah showing this one. So we have got the report on page 9 of the meeting. Sarah, would you like to open the report?
Yes. Kia ora koutou katoa. As you all know, the government passed the Amendment Act to reinstate the previous provisions under the Local Electoral Act 2001 that allowed the establishment of Māori wards to be the subject of a poll. The council is required to make a decision to either retain Māori wards for the 25-28 term and hold a poll at the 2025 election, or disestablish Māori wards and undertake a shortened rep review. This report outlines the options and considerations and risks for each option. The Amendment Act requires the council to make a decision by the 6th of September, and happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Sarah. So councillors, open for questions or comments, please. Councillor Philby.
No one's got any comments. I move a motion that we retain the Māori wards.
Well, I'm happy to second that.
Yeah.
I was, when no one was speaking, I was about to do it and jumped the gun. But no, thank you for that. So we have the motion on the table as per the recommendation.
I'm noting A, B, C and D.
Yes. So the bottom of page 9, top of page 10, all 4 of the recommendations. So just to make that clear, I'm actually going to read them for those that haven't got this in front. So the recommendations are that the council, A, retain its 2 Māori wards for the 2025-28 local election in accordance with the local government electoral legislation and Māori Wards and Māori Constituencies Amendment Act 2024, Schedule 1, Part 3, Section 11, 2A. B, notes that decision will require a binding poll to be undertaken in conjunction with the 2025 local government election. You're not allowed to comment. C, notes that the Māori wards remain in place for the 2025-28 triennium. And D, notes that the results of the poll will take effect from the 2028-31 triennium. So that is the 4 moved and seconded. Further discussion from councillors, please. Deputy Mayor Northcote.
Thank you, Your Worship. Yeah, I wholeheartedly support the recommendation. Māori ward councillors bring a lot to our table. They bring a representation of who we are as a community, and it's needed. At the end of the day, and I've said it before, I mean, you're our friends, you're our neighbours, you're our whānau, and it's only fair that you have a voice around the table. Peter, we appreciate your gratitude for forming those Māori wards, but it really isn't necessary because at the end of the day, it's just the right thing to do. So it's unfortunate that we're put into this position. Because it would be nice just to move on as we have been doing as one in our community. And I know that I will be lobbying if we go through with this binding poll, I will be lobbying anyone that I'm in contact with to vote to retain those wards. And I think that I speak for most of the people here. Kia ora.
Thank you. Councillor Beckard.
Yes, Your Worship. I totally agree with what Deputy Mayor Northcote has said. I totally agree that the Māori wards have brought benefits to our decision making. We are making better decisions now as a council, having more diverse and the Māori representatives, which it's just ridiculous that we have to go through this process. Where I've been around a long time, and we are making better decisions with our Māori ward representatives than we were before. So totally support that. Even if in the meantime we did have an attempt at a referendum, maybe there's a legal way we can get around and support some of those people who are asking us not to go through that, but totally support in all ways. Love to keep the Māori representation there because it is beneficial and we are making not just good decisions, but better decisions.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Philby.
Yeah, I'd just like to add to that with reference to note B about the poll. I total call your sentiment about the poll. I'm strongly opposed to it. If there's any way that we can get around having to hold it, I'd be fully supportive. But to be ridden roughshod over by the government about decisions made for Aotearoa, about our people who we understand and we care about, I am extraordinarily resentful of. And we went through due process for this decision in 2020, and having to back the bus up does not sit well with me at all.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Hart.
No, I'll take that. In follow-up to the suggestion from Ngāti Rūnui, Māori Wards, and Extension Taranaki and Ngārau, around the binding poll and their suggestion to actually not hold it, would the movement a seconder be worthwhile adding in another recommendation to put our members to the vote for this table? Would be happy to do it.
And second line, if I could second, but I would have a word of caution that I would be fairly much against actually breaking the law. I would like to bend and twist as far as this way.
Outside has considerable consequences for Fiona, so we need to be mindful of that. But it sounds like some of the other councils might do that work for us anyway, and we can ride on their coattails.
Thank you. Councillor Roach.
Yep, thank you, Worship. I'm just actually going to stand up. Sure, welcome everyone. Thank you for coming down to speak to us today. I fully support the motion. I'd just like to acknowledge our two Māori Ward councillors who aren't here today and their valuable input. And they do have valuable input. They have lots of local knowledge, lots of history, and they do remind us of it all the time we're debating something. So they do have good input. The only issue I had is it's not unanimous. People that I speak to in my local area aren't all for Māori Wards. And I get that because it's very hard to get something 100% agreeable. And they have their point of view, and they do tell me. I had a phone call this morning of a ratepayer telling me that we're going down the wrong path and we should not have Māori Wards. So as from this morning, I had a phone call about that. And I get that because I can't please everyone and we're not going to be 100%. But I'm actually fully in support of the motion. And thank you for your time and effort to come down here and speak to us today.
Thank you, Councillor Roach. It's called a democracy. Any Councillor Bellringer.
I'd just like to concur with my fellow councillors, and I am disgusted with this government going down this path and causing such divisiveness. And it's really detrimental to their mana to do that. I really believe that. And that's all I've got to say.
Thank you. Okay, Councillor Rook.
Kia ora, everybody. Yeah, I have to concur with everything that has been said on this side and this side. I am very disappointed that we, as a community, are being railroaded by central government. We work very, very hard here as a local council to provide the amenities that we need as a community. Doesn't matter whether we're Māori or Pacific Island or Indians, Chinese. We all need the facilities that we as a council strive to provide. And having the two Māori wards with us so that they can go back to the iwi and report and then report back to us is invaluable. We need it. And I'm very, very disappointed that central government are going to try and take that away from us. Like Councillor Roach said, I've been getting emails for the last 3 or 4 weeks on people that are against Māori Wards. I don't know whether they understand it. It's a generic email that's been sent out, provided by one person, and then we just get it given to us a lot. However, there is a groundswell out there that we are going to have to work with to make sure that we retain our Māori Wards. So, thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor. Okay, I'm not seeing any more hands going up. So Oh, Mary, sorry,
You can't.
we can't actually speak because we're outside now of the public forum, so. So I just want to make it clear that I'm going to put the motion, but remember there is now 5 recommendations.
Yeah.
Our councillors happy with that. They know what the 5th is. They're happy with that. Okay, so I'm going to put the resolution. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Thank you.
Jeez, Andy.
Again, it is carried unanimously. So I'm proud actually to be Koramatua o Taranaki ki te Tonga Kunihera to have twice, not to have put in place, but now to have been part of reinforcing this for a little bit longer anyway, with a united, unanimous council. So it's absolutely fantastic. If we can now please move to page, not 3, where did that go? Page 16.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, can I ask for you perhaps to close off Ngāpari, please?
Well, kore, mai mata, nā iwi o Aotea, ia tātou.
Yep.
Ana ki tūturu e mihi kau ana ki o koutou whakai mo te kaupapa nei. Ei, i o koutou kā, e rongo nā kōrero, kore e māma mo e ti i o koutou. Ei, ko koutou e haere ki te whakarongo ki nā kōrero, ki e ti i kore whakai. E nere, e wero mō mātou, mai mātou, he hui tātou, me a tātou pānu kore whakai ki te kaupapa nei. Ko mātou, nā iwi uaki a tātou tatau, o rātou e kōrero ki te api. Nō te mea ki te moe o mātou o nā rangatai e nai nei, nā rangatai Pākehā. Ei, ko mātou haere ki nā kaupapa o kapahaka. Ei, he nui nā kura. Nā kura Pākehā e tautoko a mātou kaupapa o te kapahaka. He haere ko, ka taia tā rātou mātua e whakai mō rātou tamariki e haere mai ki te tautoko. Te mea nui mō mātou ki te ako a tātou. Ai, i roto te kura. E rongo nā kōrero o te kāwanatanga Act me New Zealand First me National whakaroko i rātou. E nari ko māta katoa. So just to kōrero i roto Pākehā, just to say on behalf of our iwi, we mihi to use for the decision that's been made today. The hard work that Peter has Hore has talked about, eh? So where we came from, where we are now, eh? And acknowledging all our Pākehā kids, you know, now perform on the stage and the kapahaka. So, you know, there can't be too many out there because if those parents didn't agree, you know, that their kids should be performing kapahaka, and that's what we see there is those Pākehā families, they come and support, you know, so times are changing and moving. And I know the, you know, the cow cockies out there, I know that a lot of people like Jake Dwyer, you know, those ones that do a lot of hard work in bridging that gap between us. So I'll let Horny do, he might want to say a few words and he'll finish our karakia. Nami,
Ka pai.
Thank
you. Mihi kia koira Ngāpari, tautoko ngā kōri, e tino mihi tēnei kia koutou rā, rauranga tirama. It's actually a heartfelt moment today, so it's another watershed moment, but the challenge is now before both communities to make sure we have a good comms process going forward between now and D-Day in 2025. And it means by having good comms, from iwi, tangata whenua, and from our leaders, because in the community, we look at our council as part of our leadership matrix as well, and leadership from there and good comms going out. We just need to attack that poll head on. Because even in 2020, when one came up, dealt with them. Now the second challenge is before us. But as a community, we just need to get good comms out to all of it, all of our members. So i roti tērā, ka nui te mihi, ka nui te aroha. Ngā iwi o Taranaki ki te tonga. Tuturo whiti waka maua kia tīna.
Tīna.
Haumi e hui e.
Tai ki e. Kia ora.
If I come arrives, tell them I'll be.
See you, Andy.
Okay, thanks, guys. Hey, another good decision.
Rob.
Right.